What's good, YouTube? Thanks again for coming back to my channel, Project Flip. I know y'all been wondering where you been, Flip. I've been here working, doing what I need to do, dealt with a couple things, and now I'm gonna try to come back to y'all with some new content, some fresh stuff. That way you're ready to go and kind of get you up to speed. I know a lot of people are still asking about the Lexus. People are asking about the Focus. I just want to let you guys know I don't have those vehicles anymore. I did sell the Focus earlier this year, and the Lexus has been gone for a couple of years now. But I still try to answer questions whenever I get a chance. And also too, the CRV is gone too. I put that back together and ended up flipping it, so that's gone. What I do want to let you know is I still have the Prelude. That's not going anywhere. And I ended up picking up a 2004 Acura TL Type S. So this bad boy right behind me is my 2004 Acura TL Type S. Yes, it is a 6-speed manual. So let me see. Bam! 6-speed manual. It's got the Batman seat covers. So this is the motor that's in it. It's a J35 A3. The motor's bad, it has no compression. So this is the motor right here. It's a J35 A3 Type S engine. It lost compression, so instead of just pulling it out and rebuilding it, I also picked up another motor, and that's the whole point of this video I want to let you guys know about. So what I ended up doing is I ended up picking up a 3.5 engine out of a Honda Odyssey. So it's a J35 A4, and that's the engine right behind me right here. I have it all stripped down to where I want it to be, because what's going to happen is I'm going to end up pulling that engine out, and which I'm working on, and I got to transfer over a lot of parts to make it work with the stock harness and the stock ECU. So I'll run through a few of those real quick, and then I'll start giving you guys updates as I'm doing this. I do have to do this between my jobs, so this is the shop I'm at. I do have work, but when things are kind of slow, we're waiting on parts, I'm gonna try to put some footage together, so this might be a 3 or 4 part series. Right. So don't mind the mess on the floor. I stripped off a lot of stuff off of this block, off the heads, and I probably won't be using that stuff. So the first thing I noticed different between the J35 A3 and the J35 A4, okay? Dipstick location. The J35 A3 has a built-in dipstick through the valve cover, which goes into this passage down here to check the oil. I've already put it on this motor from my other one just to check the fitting, and it works pretty well. So what I'm going to do here, because this needs to be out of the way, otherwise you can't put the accessories on. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'll pull this out, and then I'm going to probably cut it off right around here, and then just weld it closed and put it back in so it acts as a plug, because I don't need to have 2 dipsticks. The next thing that has changed is the cam angle sensor. So pretty much the top plate of the timing cover, similar to this, but for this side, the sensor that reads the cam gear is different. So I have to pull the timing cover piece off of the A2 motor, the the A3 motor, and put it here so I can use that sensor. Also too, this plug here is not present on the J35 A3. It's just pretty much like a block off piece, so you can either just let this hang somewhere, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it over from the other one and just put the block off piece here. The other one is the sensor right here. I believe this is my knock sensor, and the plug is different from the stock harness, so I will be pulling the knock sensor off of the A3 motor and putting it on here. Other than that, everything else should kind of line up according for that part, except, let me bring you over here. The A4 has a taller plenum, a bigger intake, as far as the body and the housing goes. So it has this runner. I'm not going to be using the runner. I will be using, now the bottom halves are the same, they're the same on both, just one has longer studs for the runner to give it as a spacer. I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to see if I have clearance to be able to just use the ones off the A3 motor, the bottom portion, and use the shorter studs and see if I have clearance to put the intake mani from the A3 onto the A4 35 block, or the heads. Another thing that's different as well, two things actually since I'm over here, is going to be pretty much this I guess you can call it like a water gallery thermostat housing. That came off the front of the J35, and the J32 is set up a little differently. Doesn't have the extra sensors and all these extra ports here, at least mine didn't. So I'm going to be pulling that off of the J32 to put it onto the 3.5. The next thing I have to change is the fuel rails, because they are set up differently as well. So that is just easy stuff. These are ones off of the 3.5. Look at that fan setup though. Woo! Might be putting that on the Prelude when I boost it. Oh shit! Stay tuned. The engine is finally out of the car. As you can tell, there's the other engine. Here's the engine that was in the car. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull off the trans, pull off the mounts and everything, and get everything mocked up over there. I still got to pull off that flex plate and put my flywheel and everything on it, and then mount the trans and make sure everything hooks up appropriately. Once again, the engine is out of the car. It is out of the car. Hooray. So I got some good news here, and I'm actually really excited about it, because one of the main concerns I had with this setup was the Type S trans bell housing gonna mate with the J35A4, and I do want to say that it does. So as you can see, this is my old motor. This is my J32. I've already pulled the flywheel and my clutch set up and transferred it over, so that bolts up all perfect, and all the bell housing bolts and dowel pin setups all match. So I will be able to use my Type S 6-speed trans with a J35A4. And once again, the J35A4, this one particularly came out of a Honda Odyssey, and I believe it was like a 2002. So as you can see as well, I just set the thermostat housing on here from the 3.2. Everything lines up perfectly, so I have to use this one because it has less components on it, and I don't need all that extra stuff for how my motor is set up. But everything else is looking good, so I'm gonna go ahead and mate the trans fully to this engine, and then from there I can start ripping everything off of this engine that I need to put on the other one. As you can see for yourself here, the Type S transmission 6-speed manual bolts to the J35A4 with no problem. So here's the old motor again, and here's the new one. Alright, as I mentioned, I'm going to put this in like a 3-part series, so I'm going to go ahead and end it on this note here. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel to stay updated with the content that you guys are loving. Peace.